Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Good morning, one and all. Manchester United have had a €30 million price tag slapped on Eduardo Camavinga, the price it will cost for Manchester United to buy the young French midfield wonder kid this summer. And according to Fabrizio Romano, Manchester United have been in direct contract with Rennes over looking to get this deal done in the summer of 2021. It is still highly thought in France that at least for another year or so, Camavinga could remain in his homeland. Maybe Man United signing him and loaning him back to a team for a 12-month period, maybe on the cards here. But Manchester United is certainly putting in the time and the effort to secure this highly touted and highly talented wonder kid and make him a Red Devil next season. I want your thoughts and I want your feelings on this. Make sure you're smashing that like button this morning as well, sharing the stream on all your social media platforms, in your group chats, on Reddit, wherever else it is you talk football, Discord servers and all that jazz. Hope you're all well. Morning to you. Morning. Morning. I like saying good morning to you. What are we all saying here? Good morning. The great one. Morning to Neil. Hope you are well. Fabrizio said 30 million. Yeah, I believe that's 30 million euros that was said last night. 30 million euros, 25 million pounds-ish on inflation, in and around that money. What's being said here? Hang on a second. A few people saying the title isn't spelt right. What's not right in the title? Let me know what's not right, and I'll get it changed. It looks... I don't know what's wrong with the title. Maybe it's just me. Refresh it. It should be fine. Good. Brat, nice one there. Nice one there, my friend. Morning, Jason. Hope you're well. Morning, Josh. Morning, Dwayne. I'm very good. Thank you. I'm very, very good indeed. And this is interesting news. This is very, very interesting news as well in relation to Camavinga. Man United fans very, very excited at the moment with everything that's going on in the transfer market. Although the Varane story has taken a turn this morning, we expected this. We expected this based on Man United's feeling towards this deal. Man United's feelings towards this deal, but they were not sure that Varane would actually want to join in the cold light of day. It is now being said that Rafael Varane expects a gesture from Carlo Ancelotti that will open the door to him staying at Real Madrid, and a possibility of a Madrid offer, essentially an improved offer. Negotiations with Man United have taken place for a deal worth 45 million euros. So essentially the ball's now in Rafael Varane's court. He knows what Man United are willing to pay him, but as Man United have expected, it's, we've said it on the show many times. Dean Jones has told you all many times, don't be surprised if a bigger and better offer comes in from Real Madrid and he stays. Just don't be surprised. The same with Camavinga. Don't be surprised if we sign him and he's loaned back for a year. Don't be surprised if he decides to sign for a French club and just stay at home for the next 2 or 3 years to develop his game. That's still more likely than Man United signing these two players right now. When you speak to people close to these deals, they can happen. Man United can get them done. But there are still these points that are being made. They're being ignored by some, but they're definitely still being made. Let's go to some of your comments here. I want to know what you're thinking and what you're feeling. BTO, good morning to you, my friend. Hope you're well. How will the midfield look if Camavinga comes in? Well, I look at what is interesting, actually. One thing Fabrizio did say, and I agree with him 110% on this, that I don't think the Camavinga deal has anything to do with Paul Pogba. I think whether Paul Pogba stays or whether Paul Pogba goes, Camavinga is interested in Man United and Manchester United are interested in him. I look at Camavinga as almost a little bit like the Lokonga deal that Arsenal were doing. Although Camavinga is a player that everybody's been talking about for a lot longer, his name's been on everybody's lips a lot longer. I very much look at it in the same ilk. And that's very much that Camavinga is a player for the medium to long term as opposed to the here and now. However, sometimes young players can come in and just hit the ground running. They can settle quickly. They can perform to a higher standard at league level, say in the Prem or La Liga, than people expected. But I would say to everybody, just tread with caution. I'm excited about the prospects of Camavinga joining Manchester United, especially at 25 to 26 million pounds for a player as highly touted as him. but there's no pressure from me as a Man United fan. There is no, it's going to rejuvenate our midfield next year. He's going to be balling out like a prime Pogba. No, he's going to have time to settle. I want him to be used sparingly. I want him to be bled into the team softly, in exactly the same way that Mason Greenwood has been treated, in the same way that we're doing with Ahmad. It just needs to be at the right time, slowly, and then when they're ready, you let them go. However, you may find that he comes into training and he's more of a Sancho. He's more of an AWB. And the reason that I mentioned these two, it keeps it close to Man United. Both of these two players from debut as teenagers at the highest level, one in Germany, one in the Prem, they just took to it like duck to water. So nobody quite knows. No matter how much scouting you do, you never quite know how Camavinga is going to be, look, feel from day one. But it is a deal that Man United are exploring. Direct contact with the club has been made here as well. And I think you've got to look at it from two ways. Of course, Manchester United, maybe have looked at it as a player they maybe wanted to get in a couple of years' time. But with him running his contract down with Rennes, with lots of big clubs, including Chelsea and PSG, being interested in him, it probably is very important that the club strikes now. The club gets a deal done now. They get it over the line. Comment here says Camavinga will be a good addition to the squad in the near future. He looks a player, a good part of the rebuild along with Sancho. Yeah, I mean, I've only seen him play a couple of times. I've of course shamelessly watched some compilations, but I've been doing a bit of research all a bit of yesterday evening and for an hour this morning on Scout, just watching him. And watching Scout's amazing because it is clips, but it's clips of specific things. You can watch him in defensive duels. You can watch his passing, his forward passing, he's passing into the final third. It's very specific. And there's a bit of rawness there. There's a little rashness at times, but there's a player in there. There's a player in there. And Ollie's record of developing young individuals at Manchester United has been nothing short of brilliant. So for me, I'm all up for it. Really, really up for it indeed. And at about £25 million circular, that's brilliant. Josh here says this is the make or break year for Ollie, straight up. Absolutely. And if Ollie's bringing in players like Camavinga, if he's bringing in players like Varane, like Jadon Sancho, there is no more excuses for Ollie. This summer is shaping up, and it should be the summer that all Ollie outers love. It's the perfect summer for Ollie outers because they get their answer. They get the opportunity to be proven right. They get the opportunity to see whether he truly is good enough, and nobody can give him any excuses. New deal on the way. Highly talented youngsters, potentially one of the best centre-backs in the world, coming into a squad that he already got to finish second. So there should be a title push. We should go deeper into the Champions League. We have to win a trophy as Manchester United. We can't be going, what would this be, the fifth season without one, or the fourth? The last trophy we won was in 2017. So this would be the fifth year. This would be the fifth year with no trophy. Can't happen. Can't happen at Man United. Not without a head rolling. So you're absolutely right. It's make or it is break for Ollie this summer. If these players indeed do come in. Is that the right way around to say that word? If they indeed do come in. There I go. I got myself a little tongue tied there, my people. Morning. Marble Halls TV says United finally doing bits in the transfer market. But that's it, isn't it? And that's the point. Finally doing bits. Finally doing what we should be doing. And he says, I'm not getting the notifications for the live videos. Damn you, YouTube. Yeah, YouTube's awful. That's why you've got to sign up to our Discord server. If you turn on notifications for our Discord server, you will always get the notifications when we're going live or when a new video has been set up. The link for our Discord is inside our description below. Just scroll down and find that for yourselves. We know we put every single video out on there. It'll always get sent out to you. You'll always see it. You'll always see that pushed out. So make sure you get that. Make sure you sign up to that. That's the safest way. We do have a brand new newsletter coming very, very soon as well. What I'm also thinking of doing is, of course, we have the Legends and we have the Superfan WhatsApp group. We do have that. But what I'm thinking of, that's where I communicate and we do videos, Q&As and things like that. I'm thinking of setting up a different one that's for all subscribers of the Football Terrace, so you all just get the notifications when we're going live. Hit me up with a yes in the live comment section if you want me to get that set up. And that won't be where I'm sending in. That would just be for video notifications only. But I think we can set something like that up to keep you all more informed, because YouTube is an absolute cow son for these things. Absolute cow son in terms of keeping people, making people aware of what's going on and what's being said. But as you can see, I've just posted the links again into the Discord server, so you should be able to see them now. A lot of you are saying yes to that, so we'll get that set up for you. And legends and super fans, as I say, it's not the same as your group chat where you get nice little videos from me nearly every single day. I know some of you like that. Let's have a little look here. Actually, make sure that like button is being smashed, please, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very important that we get that done. Very, very important indeed that you go and smash that like button. Let's look at some more of your comments. What's happening, Terry? I just finished praying. Well, I hope you had a good time praying this morning, and it's given you, I don't know what the feeling is I'm looking for, that sense of, I don't know. My mate always says when he finishes praying, he feels clean and refreshed and ready for the day. So that's what I'm trying to say. I was looking for one word that totalizes that, but maybe that's you'll get what I mean from there. You'll get what I mean from there. So let's have a little look. I'm going to open up the lines for you to come on and have your say this morning as well. I'm going to post the link. I'm going to post the link in the Discord server as well. I'm going to put it into the StreamYard call-in link section. I'm going to post it over there. So get across to the Discord if you want to come on and have your say this morning. Very important to the terrace, as I say, that you do that. I'll also post it inside the live comment section as well, so we can hear from as many of you as possible. We've given you the Varane update already as well, but if you only just tuned in, Rafael Varane is now expecting an improved offer from Real Madrid. This is exactly what Dean Jones spoke about. Man United not being 100% convinced that Rafael Varane wants to join Man United solely. He definitely would like to join Man United. He's definitely interested, but he isn't focusing on Manchester United as the be-all and end-all move. There is still the possibility that he signs a new contract with Real Madrid this summer. That's going on. Ben White price is another story I wanted to touch on. There's a few stories today that Brighton are now trying to up the price to £55 million for Ben White. This comes a day after the news being leaked that Chelsea are going in for him. I think Brighton are just trying to get some more money out of Arsenal here over both these stories. I would remain very, very relaxed. Very, very relaxed indeed if I was an Arsenal fan on this deal. That's indeed if you want him, I suppose. Annie here says Camavinga for 30 million. United pull it off, and the world will go crazy. We are at least going to start walking on the road towards a title. I think you're right in terms of that. I think Man United will be on the right tracks. I think Man United will be moving in the right direction. I think Manchester United, that we've been doing that since Ollie came in. It's just been a slower process than people realized. And the one thing, everyone knows my thoughts on Ollie in terms of the way we play and the way we're coached. Everybody knows I've got severe doubts over that. But the structural rebuild at the club, it's clear for everyone to see. It was clearing out deadwood. It was fixing wage structures. And again, people will pick on things. Oh, but we've paid De Gea too much. It was an experiment the club were willing to take. They were willing to show a lot of faith in him to try and trigger his greatest form to come back. Hasn't really worked for us. But I think he is a player that deserved that level of investment to see whether we could get the best out of him. It hasn't worked. We'll sell him on. Fair enough. Even well-run clubs make mistakes in terms of signings, in terms of renewals of contracts. But we have shaved millions of pounds a year of wage structure, as an example. We're going after a profile of player that invariably has worked. Now, Dan James is a profile of player, hasn't worked on a technical and ability level, but at £15 million, it was worth the risk. We've got one of the best centre-backs in the Premier League in Maguire. We've got AWB, who's one of the best right-backs. I don't care what people have got to say. He really is. He's still young. He's going to develop and get even better. The growth in our attacking players has been excellent as well. The team has improved. We just now need to go to that next level. And for me, I've still got my question marks over it. I've still got my issues. But with the kind of signings we're looking to do this summer, it tells you one thing. It tells you that professional football players of the highest caliber, both experienced and young, potentially want to come and be part of this. And if they want to come and be part of this, I need to look at my opinion of the football club. I need to look at my opinion of how things are being run and maybe look at changing it. Why? Because professionals on the inside are willing to go and be there. If Paul Pogba re-signs, you've got Anthony Martial who's got 1 foot out the door, but he's fighting tooth and nail to get fitter than ever before to get back into this team. Why would he want to play for a sinking ship? Tells me something may be at foot here. So let's just wait and see for these transfers to come in. Let's wait and see how we start the season. But the signs look good. Anybody denying that these signs don't look good, they're lying to themselves. They're looking to be deliberately negative. They're looking to be deliberately down. They're looking to be deliberately... You can say you're going to tread with trepidation, but just hold back a little bit. Imagine Pogba re-signing, Varane choosing to come here, Camavinga picking us over PSG and Chelsea, Sancho wanting us and nobody else, denying all other talks with anyone else who wants to be at Man United. Tells me something at the very, very least. Can someone tell me what is Camavinga's price tag? Well, this is according to Fabrizio Romano. It's been set at around 30 million euros. So 30 million euros, depending on who you're going to do your conversion with. But if we just run that through Google, and this will give you a base. I mean, Man United get better price. That's 25.7 million. However, trust me when I tell you, Man United are going to get a lot of points and a lot of bips shaved off their exchange rate, because I used to do exchange rates for people, but never at 30 odd million quid. If I had a client ring me and say, look, I want to convert 30 million euros into pounds, they're going to get a good price, because, of course, the converter of this, the company doing the exchange, it could be a bank, it could be an FX company. In this case, it will definitely be a bank. They are going to do a very good deal. So Man United would probably get another £1 million, I would say, shaved off that. I think around £24 million this would cost Man United after the exchange rate. No doubt about it whatsoever. They won't get... Man United are not going to get the exchange rate that we get on the high street or at the post office when we're changing up our holiday money. They're not going to get the exchange rate Google tells us. It is going to be much better than that. Bips and points will be knocked off by the exchanging bank. Terry, who do you prefer, Fred or Jorginho? That's a hard question. But for me, I would pick Jorginho. I love that style of play. That's a personal preference. That's who I would pick. First caller of the day on the terrace. Make sure that like button's being hit this morning, ladies and gentlemen, though. Over 1,000 viewers, but just 158 likes. Come on, guys. Let's ratio this up. Let's hit the like button. Let's show support for the terrace here, people. Let's get this past 500 likes while we are live. Let's go to Matt. Matt's our first caller. What are you saying, bro?
Morning, Terry. How are you doing?
I'm very, very well indeed. What is your take on this Camavinga news this morning?
This is fantastic. It was. It's almost like I said it yesterday. I said, I'm looking for a midfielder despite Pogba for half the price of Declan Rice with a higher ceiling. I don't want to sound like prime, but I called it. I said it. It's happening. But it's a fantastic deal if United can get it done. But I don't see him as the single pivot DM in a midfield three. It's for Rennes, he's playing in multiple different styles of midfields. He's played in like a 3, he's played in a 2. I think he probably plays best in a 2 in midfield. And I know a lot of United fans don't like the fact that he plays a double pivot. But you look at Southgate playing a double pivot at the moment. He's screening defences very, very effectively with 2 destroyer midfielders. And I think if you had like Camavinga and a Fred, they together, you got a very intense work rate. He is... I'm looking at his stats. He is an Ollie type midfielder. He works incredibly hard to get the ball back and recover it. So it's again, it's an exciting deal, but people have got to be patient with him because he is only young. He's 18, and he's got a lot of potential. But be patient. He's not going to come in and completely revolutionise Man United's midfield just yet. Just give him time and let him develop as a young player.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I see him more of I don't really see him as... He's played in DM roles on occasions this season. There's no doubt about that. But he's very much the right-hand side of a midfield. So if you look at Man United when we play double pivot now, it would be Scott McTominay's position that he would be vying for the most. But the rawness is there, but the talent is there. 92% pass completion rate from him as an example, 50% cross completion ratio, 86% pass completion into the final third, 56% pass completion into the penalty area. His forward passing accuracy is at 83%. It's absolutely, from that point of view, it's brilliant. Defensively, very strong as well. He wins 60% of his defensive duels, 50% of his tackles, over 7 recoveries per game. You know, loses the ball around 8 times per match, but only around 35% in his own half. So statistically, he's a very strong player. But at the age that he is, the ceiling's very, very high for him to be improved. What I would say about him is this: I don't think anybody quite knows yet exactly what and where his best position is. I think one of the telling points here is this, though. Man United are working very closely with Dan James this summer to get things resolved for him, so that he's either at a permanent club or at Man United next year. Dan James and Camavinga both share the same agent at the same agency. So I do think Man United are working with the same agent on another deal. There's a lot of talk around Dan James. Dan James he's not feeling under pressure, but he knows that he's lower down the pecking order at Man United. So they are looking at a move to move him on. He may be moving to Brighton. So both those deals seem to be happening at the same time. So it does appear that Man United have had a fair amount of encouragement from the representative of Camavinga that he would like to join. It's just trying to get that deal struck.
And when you look at the midfields that Man United have fielded under Ollie, you know, Ander Herrera is a hard-working player. Fred is a hard-working player. McTominay is a hard-working player. Camavinga is a hard-working player. He is a typical Ollie midfielder. I don't think he could play like a Carrick in that comment there. I don't think he could play, as the deep line playmaker as a single pivot controlling a midfield. But I think his ability he can control the game. It's just a different style of controlling a game. He can control the game by being adaptive and progressive runs and progressive dribbles, sort of like a Frankie de Jong. Frankie de Jong's not that single pivot DM in the same way a Carrick is, but he can carry the ball from a defence through a midfield, which United have been lacking.
I think what's interesting about that, he does make a fair amount of progressive runs, as you say, per game. He's dribbling. He doesn't dribble too often per match, around two to 3 times per game, but with a very good succession rate. I think when I look at Camavinga, I think he can at some stage be more like a Carrick. But Michael Carrick, if people remember him in his earlier days, he didn't sit as deep. He was much further up the field, especially at Tottenham. It was as he got older, he matured more, because that role that he plays and Jorginho plays, it's a bit like when you learn to drive, right? You can pass your driving test, but I still think it takes you a couple of years to learn to drive properly, where you learn to read the road. You anticipate things happening a mile down the road on the motorway. You can kind of read things before they happen because it's experience. You can't develop experience without playing time. But what Camavinga has is that rawness. He's a brilliant passer, excellent first touch. He's athletic. He's 6 foot tall. He's strong. He has everything that's needed. And I think Man United could mold him into anything that they and he want to become. I don't think with Camavinga, he's the stall set out. It isn't. He's not like with someone like when we had Ander Herrera. Ander Herrera, for me, almost from day one, we knew what he was. He was a shithouser. He had a break-up play, win the ball back, decent passer. That's it. I think Camavinga has the ability to be anything he wants to be at this young stage, but it could be a great signing. Matt, great call. View as ever, mate. Thank you very much for coming on and having your say. Top man. Make sure that like button is being hit. You can phone in. The link is pinned to the live comments section here on YouTube. If you're watching over on Twitch, you can also phone in via that link as well. Remember, the only fan channel that lets you phone in every single day and give your views and your opinions on what's going on in the game. And we will get that private WhatsApp group set up a little bit later so we can get these notifications out to all of you. And I want to see you all in it as well, by the way. I don't want to see 20 of you all come. Let's get notified here. Next caller on the show, we're going to Igal. Igal's here this morning. What are you going to say, bro?
Hey, how's it going, Terry? Good morning, everybody out there. Manchester United look like they're trying to do some serious business. If you guys can get Varane, Camavinga, and Sancho, you don't even need anybody else, really. Them 3 alone, that's a statement of intent. That's solving your defensive area, solving your right side of the attack or left side, wherever he's going to play, bolstering your midfield to a point where you have one of the most exciting, young, talented midfielders in Camavinga, who cost just over 100 million just last season, was being quoted for that. And now it seems to have, you've saved about 30 to 40 million on Sancho. you've now saved what, another 60 million on possibly on Camavinga's price from a year before, and Varane, if this was pre-COVID, he'd probably be quoted for 80 million. So that's another 40 million. This whole situation where that you had guys talking about last year, that Manchester United have the financial clout to go out and take advantage of the situations. It looks like you guys are doing it a year later.
Yeah, and it's an interesting one that you bring that up, actually, because we spoke about, Liverpool Football Club told their fans last summer that we're not going to, basically said, we're not going big this year because we're going to go big the following year. We're going to almost save the money. And they haven't really they haven't done that. They haven't delivered the promises. They said in January they're going to go big in the summer. They haven't done that yet. They might still do it, but they haven't done it as of yet. Man United are making a splash. And look, do I think the protests have had a part to do with it? Yes. As the Super League not forming has played a part in it. And I believe that's because I think the owners of Manchester United thought, if the Super League happens, we're rolling in it for life. So we don't need to invest big, because we're just going to, if the Super League went through, it'd be an extra £400 million a year that these clubs were earning, whether they're the worst team in the Super League or the best team in the Super League. So there was no incentive for these owners to spend. At Man United, what I will say is this: for us to remain one of the biggest clubs in the world, for us to maintain the income for them to get out the club what they want, they have to make us winners on the pitch again now. And I think that penny has dropped. Now, do I want our owners? No. Do I think the Glazers are good, even if they make us win titles? No, because they want us to win so they can keep making money out of us. But I'd rather them make money out of us when we're winning trophies than not winning trophies. It's the best of making the best of a bad situation for me. And these kind of signings could be gargantuan for us. Of course, I know you're a fan of France. Camavinga is highly touted to be one of the next stars of your nation, isn't he?
Terry, I'm not gonna lie to you. He hasn't played much for the first team, for the French national team, and he wasn't even playing for the under 21s this summer. He's been on the fringes of the French national team for a while. He's very highly touted. He's a DM who's played in many different positions, but I don't think he's played as a sole DM ever. So if you guys are planning to play him in a double pivot, it would make sense. If you guys are bringing him to play next to somebody, it makes sense. But as of right now, if you're trying to play him in the Matic role and have Pogba and Bruno in front of him, I don't think that would work.
Yeah, I don't think that's where Man United are going to look to play him. I think they're going to look to play him on the right-hand side of a double pivot for now, and as he grows and gets developed and gets older. And that's the thing with Camavinga. What I would stress to Man United fans is to not, a bit like Lokonga with Arsenal, is don't expect him to come in and be the superstar who's helping you win Premier League straight away. He's a player that I think needs to be used semi-sparingly. I think the amount of game time Matic saw this year is maybe what you give to Camavinga. And you slowly bleed him in, you get him used to his surroundings. You may get a shock, and he's suddenly better than we expected him to be, but I would definitely not be rushing him at the age he is. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. I want to... So go on, mate, go on.
No. Ask your question.
I was going to ask you about the situation with... going to ask you about the situation when it comes to Ben White, because we saw the links to Chelsea yesterday. Yeah. And then we saw last night, very late, 55 million now being requested from Brighton. Do you think this is Brighton at the 11th hour just trying to get more money out of you?
Listen, at this point, everything that I've read says Arsenal were looking at Tapsoba as an alternative if the Ben White deal was not at the level of progression that it's been at. And I feel like this deal is going to happen. I feel like everything that's coming out at this point, Terry, is because they know England are in the Euro. England have advanced further than everyone has expected at this point, except for yourself, of course. And it looks like after the Euros, these deals will be completed. Everything else that's happening, they know the club cannot fully announce that it's done, but majority of people have speculated that this deal is done and dusted. There is nobody that's actually come in and put up a formal offer or even a legitimate offer yet. It's just been paper talk when it comes to Everton and Man City. So I don't think Brighton have a leg to stand on. They've agreed fees. The clubs have agreed fees. For you to now go back on a fee that you agreed with the club, that can ruin a relationship between two clubs. And that could cost Brighton more than just the situation with Arsenal, because we know what happened with Napoli and Koulibaly, how that cost their relationship, and now Man City don't even want to work with Napoli on any signings after the Jorginho situation.
Yeah, I hear you on that completely, mate. And I don't even know how true it is. It just feels all a little bit too convenient. I just think it's more money or more structure trying to be done, but we'll see what happens. Gal, thanks for calling in, mate, and having your say this morning. Top man.
Peace.
Thank you. Top man. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have just shared the link in the live comment section for you if you want to join the WhatsApp group for notifications. About 5 of you have joined it so far. So a lot of you are asking for it. The link has been posted. So get yourselves into that group. That's all I'm going to say. Get yourselves into that group now. Make sure you always get notified when the Football Terrace goes live. That's all the group is for, ladies and gentlemen. If you start sort of spamming stuff in there, we'll remove you. It's not for people to see anything other than notifications. So that has been shared. I'll post it again now in case any of you missed it. But get yourself signed up to it. Next caller we've got on the line is going to be Cozy Arsenal podcast. Welcome to the Terrace. What you saying, bro?
How you doing, Terry?
I'm very, very well. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm also well, man. I'm not so well, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but I just called in, for the Camavinga update. I mean, it's a little bit confusing. Arsenal have been reported that we want Camavinga, and we have been working behind the scenes so hard. And then Fabrizio came out last week and said it's going to be very hard for us, because the price is astronomical. Rennes are asking for around 70 million euros, so Arsenal is not going to pay that. And today in the morning, I saw Manchester United from the same man, Fabrizio, says Manchester United is progressing in talks and Rennes will accept around 30 million euros because the player's contract is running down. And I'm just disappointed. He's the man I wanted in that central midfield. But like you said, he's young. You need to use him sparingly, so probably might not come in as the direct replacement to Xhaka. But he's the man I wanted, and that's all I want to say on the terrace today. Thanks for the show, Terry, and thanks for letting us always on.
Not a problem at all, mate. Thank you very much for calling in and having your say. Top man. Thank you. What I would say is this. I mean, Rennes have probably been told, the asking price was around 40 million euros a few months ago. But he's got 1 year left on his deal and he doesn't want to sign a new deal. So they're never going to get any, they'll be lucky to get 30 million euros if they're being honest. I think the issue with Arsenal is I just don't see Camavinga picking Arsenal over teams in better situations than them right now. That would be my sort of thought and feeling on this situation. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. That's what I would say. Next on the show, we're going to go to Josh. Josh is here with us. What you saying, Josh?
Hey, how you going today?
Very, very well. What's your thoughts on the Camavinga move?
Hey, I'm happy to be linked with the guy. I mean, he's a very very promising young French midfielder. To touch on the point that you were talking about earlier with his defensive statistics, I honestly think that now would be the perfect time to get him because he's young enough to be molded into a role that perhaps Oli wants him in the midfield if we get him. So he's got the attributes to be a CDM, and strong on the ball, very hard to get off, good ball progression, passing progression, and a good passing accuracy. So there's no reason why he can't come in, say, look, we want you to be in this role, train him to be in said role, and there's no reason why he can't be a formidable CDM in the next 3-4 years. It's one of those things when they're young, they're moldable, rather than having someone that's a set, say, box-to-box player like McTominay seems to be. That's not that whole CDM conversion doesn't seem to be working. So go for someone younger, mold them, train them in what you want. We got Carrick, who's one of the best CDMs in the later stages of his career there. So I'm happy about that. I mean, the whole Varane thing. I mean, that I was just expecting that. There's going to be toing and froing for quite a while. I think he'll want the deal done before preseason starts, but I expect to see opinions differing in different articles when it comes to this transfer. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything's pretty normal at the moment.
Yeah, listen, I agree with you. I think it's an excellent piece of business that Man United should definitely be exploring. The future looks very, very bright for this kid. And almost Dan James-esque. At 25 million pounds in this current climate, I don't think it represents, it's not dangerous. It isn't a deal where you think, could end up with egg on our face, could end up in trouble here, could end up with a problem. For me, it's it's good business all round. When I look at that,
yeah, it's not going to cost a lot of money either. You know, if he pays them over 3-4 years, that's what, barely even 8 or 9 million per year. So it makes good sense in that regard too.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the point. It just isn't something that I think is a huge risk for Manchester United, just in any way, shape, or form. You think about Renato Sanchez 5 years ago when he joined Bayern Munich. You know, that was around 31 million pounds 5 years ago. It wasn't a huge. I say it wasn't a huge risk. If you think about Bayern Munich from that, it never really worked for Bayern Munich, but they loaned him out to Benfica. They loaned him out. They got him for 31 million. They loaned him out for about 8 million pounds, 9 million pounds to Swansea. So they recouped some of that. He then came back and they sold him to Lille for around about 20 million pounds. So yes, they've lost a little bit, but they only lost about 4 or 5 million. In terms of transfer fees, they weren't down particularly too much. So, you know, if Camavinga comes in and does okay, then it's still worth the money.
He'll hold his value too. I mean, it's
I think more than, even if he does okay, average, we'll still probably be able to sell him with the inflation rate on players for more than what he came in on. But I'm very comfortable with it. Listen, Josh, great call as ever, mate, and we'll speak to you again soon. Top man. Thank you. Let's do some of your live comments that are coming through here. Jason says, Ollie in. We'll see what happens. Listen, I hope and I pray that next season I have so much egg on my face. Legitimately, I hope I have pure egg on my face, and I hope that I just hope I look stupid by saying that Ollie isn't good enough to win us a major trophy. I hope that he comes in and he's beyond good enough to make us win a major trophy. I really, really do. I see quite a few of you have joined. Joined the WhatsApp group, which is cool. But just remember, it's for notifications only. If you've joined, if you've left almost straight away. Love it. All I'm going to be posted in there is when we're going live. So if I see people like spamming stuff and sharing too much, it's not what it's for at all. It's purely for notifications. So join up for notifications so you never miss a live Football Terrace stream again. Terry, can cheap players cost you points? I mean, potentially they can. They can, but it's the risk. Expensive players can cost you points. You know, we're acting like some of our world record signings and our top signings over the years at Man United haven't cost us points in games. Like big money signings haven't quite hit the ground running. So anyone can cost you points. But of course, if someone costs you 15 million pounds and they cost you 3 points, for me, it's less annoying than someone that costs you 60 million. But I suppose everyone's going to have a different view and opinion on these types of things, really and truly. But there we go. Let's look at some more of these comments that are coming through. We are going to go to some more of your calls as well. Kevin says, would you be Ollie in if we win the Premier League, Champions League semi-final and win? Of course. I will admit, do you know what I'd first of all do, Kev? I would first of all admit that I was wrong, that I got it wrong. And then I'd support him 100%. And even now, it isn't that I don't support him. I want him to win. I want him to be successful. I won't get into the hyperbolic nonsense and say there's no style of football or anything like that. So someone says on here, I can change the settings so that only admins can send messages. I didn't know you could do that, right? How do you do this then? Group settings. There we go. Admins only. That's confirmed. That's done. Sweet. Now you could go, if you join the WhatsApp group and left because people are putting messages in, only I can send messages now. That's great. So do that. There you go. So yeah, that works. So if you want to be in that group, that is purely to receive. If you want to be part of the proper Football Terrace group chat, sign up and become a Legends and Superfan member now. It's one of the perks that comes with it. But yeah, Kevin, 110%. 110% I support him. Why would you not? You'd have to be an absolute madman to not support him if he goes to achieve something as brilliant and as great as that. It's as simple and as straightforward as that to me. Absolutely. Terry, who is your player of the Euros so far? Mine is Jorginho. I give mine to Raheem Sterling. I think his goals have been decisive in a couple of games that have led us to get to the position that we're in. He was also for me, instrumental in the he was also instrumental in the game against Ukraine the other night. He didn't score the goals, but he got an assist. But his running, his directness, his hold-up play at times in his position was brilliant. He's spacing the hole. He was just great. But I think Jorginho is a great shout. Spinazzola is a great shout. I think, young Pedri, not been outstanding, but I've really enjoyed watching him play. I think Luke Shaw could be on the tips of people's tongues. Pickford could be a shout for people. I don't think any of those names would be disrespectful to anybody else. That's kind of my take on those things. I don't think any of them would be disrespectful to anybody else in any way, shape, or form. Schick. Yeah, Schick was absolutely brilliant this tournament. That's a great shout. I absolutely get that. Neil says, mate, I can respect your opinion that you don't like Ollie, but there is no manager out there better than him. He fits our club. I like Ollie. And do you know what, Neil? I pray you're right. I pray you're... the thing is with me, I don't want to be right about not thinking Ollie's good enough to win us league titles. It's an opinion, and I'm not scared to express an unpopular opinion with certain groups. Equally, with Ollie outers don't like me, because this is the crazy thing. A lot of Ollie-inners hate me because I say I don't think Ollie's good enough to win us a major title. Just an opinion. Ollie outers don't like me because I'm not condemning enough in my thoughts on Ollie. I'm not unyielding. I'm not like totally putting him down in the dumps every day. They can't stand it. It's almost this weird paradox I live in where, because I don't think he's good enough, I don't sit in either camp. But I don't want to be in either camp. I'm not a sheep. I'm not going to be like, right, I don't think Ollie's good enough, so that means I have to slag off everything that he does. That's just stupidity. It's not a stupid point of view. If you see it that way, that's fair enough. What I mean by stupid, it would be stupid of me to be a sheep, to yield on my own morality, to go in a direction that I, say something I don't believe in, and to just to toe the party line to a group of people like me. Nah, not about that life, bruv. Not about that life at all. I'd rather be on my own but integral than in a big group of people lying. That's not very the most philosophical way of putting it, but it's how I think and feel. I see it all the time on socials at the minute. I see so many people like all sort of like, oh, my friend. Oh, yeah, we share opinion, friends. It's like, yeah, half of you don't even believe what you're saying. You just want social friends. Fuck that. Or I'll be all by myself. Ollie was the second best manager last season in the Prem. This is very, very true. Chris says, I couldn't care less about Ollie, but he's done a better job than I thought. I think he's done better than many people believed he would do. There's no doubt. And I hope he goes one step further. I want him to be successful without a shadow of a doubt. I want him to be successful. 110%. Win-win situation for you. Of course it's win-win for me. Of course it's win-win for me. But I didn't think any of our last three managers in the end were right for us. But I wanted them all to win. I wanted to be wrong. I think Anthony Martial is coming to the end of his time at Man United, but I hope he isn't. But I'm just being realistic with how it looks, how I think, how it feels. And people say, if Martial goes, that's it. I definitely can't support Ollie. Why? Why? You're supporting Ollie means supporting it's not supporting everything Ollie does, but it's still wanting the team to win. What I saw crazy towards the end of last season, I think is crazy. I want us to lose so the man I don't like leaves. That doesn't make any sense. You should always you should want to be wrong in your club to win, not the other way around. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right to me. Seeing how Man United are moving to add these great players. Can't wait to see how Liverpool respond, is what Ian Lee says. Terry, what are your expectations for Man United's season? Interesting, right? That you say that. So we have to land these signings. So but we haven't got Camavinga, we haven't got Varane as of yet. Let's be very, very honest about that. But the terrorists have been very clear also. Man United don't expect to get Varane. They are still treading very loosely around. Have you noticed how a lot of the big transfer journalists are not pulling on that thread? But it's the truth. And he's now talking again to Real Madrid, which we said to you is going to happen. If we don't get him, it will be, see, I told you there's no change. Da, 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 da. No, the change has come that Man United haven't got completely into bed with Raphael Varane. But everyone's ignoring that point. Do you know why? Because everybody wants the fail-safe of being able to rant if it goes wrong, rather than, well, look, Man United always knew this was the case. But they worked on the deal to try and get him. But they've also carried on working on other deals because they still believed in their heart of hearts that Raphael Varane may not choose them. That has been pushed out the whole time. Everyone ignoring that, for me, is a wet wipe. Everyone who's ignoring that point is a whopper. I'm not seeing that element being spoke about anywhere. Why? It's being ignored. And it's being ignored because people want to be able to rant. And if they express and acknowledge that fact, it takes away the ability to rant. It takes away the ability to rant. And people want that. It's people's outlet for life. You know, people that are miserable in their own lives, hate their jobs, unhappy with their family life, whatever it may be. They need a place to be able to rant and get it out. And if they ignore the facts that mitigate their anger, that offset their anger, it takes away that ability for them. And for me, and I'm talking the Varane deal only here. Like if we miss out on the Camavinga deal to Arsenal, I'll be pissed off about that. But the Varane one instantly is there. But to go back to the original question, if we sign these players, I expect us to legit challenge for the title, which means with at least 2 to 3 games to go, we can win it. We're in contention. That's what I expect. 110%. Is man like eye test? But is eye test been? I ain't seen eye test in a while, you know. Give us a call, eye test. I'd love to hear your views and opinions on the players that Man United are looking to sign and everything else. I've shared the link again in the comment section. Eye test, dial in, bro. I want to hear from you, my guy. Terry, what do you think has made Shaw so good this season? Fitness, time, care. He's kept himself fit. He's eating better. He's behaving better. He's doing the right things. I think all those things have played a gargantuan part in the progression of Luke Shaw over the course of the past year or so. 110%. I truly, truly believe that. Terry, don't get splinters in your bum. Listen, I don't live in. I'm not a polarized person. It's not about sitting on the fence. It's about giving a proper opinion, an in-depth opinion, an opinion that takes into consideration nuance. I don't do this key stage one nonsense. I don't do key stage one nonsense. I'm not, Ollie isn't good enough, so therefore everything about Ollie and what he does is wrong. That's weird, bruv. That's weird for me. I could never live in that world, ever. Let's have a little look at some more of these comments coming through. I test Isak Mr. Sitter versus Spain. He did. Isak really petered out in the tournament, didn't he? He really, really petered out throughout the course of the tournament. But I don't know what people expected. I don't know what people expected, if I'm being honest. No way. Shane, hope you're good. Hope you're good. Cody here. He's got our old badge. Says, Terry, do you think we should rather work on an established CDM instead of a prospect? As I'm not sure if after we sign Camavinga, we will sign a proper CDM. I think Man United have a proper CDM in mind. There's 1 or 2 in the market they want. It does look like they're unavailable. So United are going to wait. And I think waiting is the best answer. And the reason I say that is, again, it's about staying true to my integrity. And I love the way Liverpool approached transfers a few years ago where they would, okay, we didn't get our guy in the summer, then we'll wait in January. If we don't get him in January, we'll try again next summer. They waited and waited for the right person for them, as opposed to just signing an alternative. And I think if United have their eyes set on 1 or 2 players and neither of those individuals are legitimately available, then I say wait and sign a different player in a different position. That's what I say is the best. I would say that is the best form of action from this point moving forward. That's what I say. Breaking news: Roberto Martinez is staying as the Belgian manager. Yeah, I'm not surprised, especially after Nuno went to Tottenham. It would have been interesting to see what Tottenham would have done in that regard. But there we go. Morning, original base. Annie, hope you are well, my friend. Hope you are good. Paul here says, Terry, I have a question for you. When Zidane first turned manager after being a player, how much tactical know-how do you think he had? That's a really good question. I think some people adjust. I think Zidane is that he's given me the impression he's that kind of rare coach who is a good man manager, a good people person, but also very good tactically as well, where Ollie is more of a man manager rather than a technical manager. But with Zidane, what I'd also say is this: you can't denounce 3 Champions Leagues on the bounce and a league title. You can't kind of play it down in any way, shape, or form. But I would like to see what he could do without a squad as good as that. So the one thing I'd say again about Jose Mourinho and his pomp, Fergie and their pomp, that I loved is that they were winning major trophies with arguably not the best teams in Europe or even in their league at certain times. So I kind of feel like we don't quite know. I want to see Zidane away from his comfort zone of Real Madrid before I start. It's kind of weird. It sounds like a harsh thing to say because he has won. He done the 3 Champions Leagues on the bounce. But I want to see him manage outside of Real Madrid and how he does there tactically before I kind of make my mind up. And I don't know if that sounds harsh or not. Maybe it sounds disrespectful, but it's just the gut feeling I have about him. I just want to see that before I fully judge it, if that makes sense. Let's have a look at a few more of the comments coming through here this morning. Could Zidane manage Burnley? No, probably not. Guys, just think about Shaw, Pogba, Rashford on one side and Sancho, Cannavani and WB on the other. It's just beautiful. You also, and then just Bruno flickering around wherever he wants to be. It could be an absolute thing of beauty. Absolute thing of beauty. If you give a guy a world-class team, they can win everything. What the F are you talking? I don't know what you mean. I don't know. I don't kind of get what you mean here. I'm just saying that for me to think that he is a sort of tactically a master at football, I just want to see him do it elsewhere. He had one of the best teams in the world when he took over. What he achieved even with that was astronomical. But it's a very short period of time. I want to see what he does with other teams, other players. I want to see. Like Pep Guardiola's proven it in 3 leagues. That's my point. So I won't put Zidane near a Pep level just on winning 3 back-to-back Champions Leagues until I see him do that. Longevity element goes into it as well. How good is he tactically? Pretty good. I think he's pretty good. Do I think he's a great? It's a no from me right now. Gabrielle here says, when a team invests big on transfers, the expectation is now to win a proper trophy. Chelsea set the bar high. Let's see who follows. Absolutely. I do keep still seeing Chelsea fans really angry and panicky and annoyed about how their season is looking. I do find that very, very interesting. I find it very interesting indeed that they feel that way. So yeah, very, very going to be very intriguing to see what Chelsea do this summer. I've seen all these sort of like links to like, oh, we haven't done this from the past. We haven't done that in the past. We haven't done this in the past, blah, 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 blah. It's just going to be interesting to see how that actually kind of like pans out. Very, very intrigued. Very, very intrigued indeed to see how that all works. Do me a favor and smash that like button and please share this stream as well, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I'm very, very good. Thank you, Footy Chats. Maria says, posting the thing about people dying won't be tolerated. What's that? I don't know what that means, Maria. I didn't do that. What do you mean? I don't know what that means. Who did this? I don't know what this means. Legit. Coaches really had it the same. Sorry, coaches literally had the same squad with Madrid and weren't successful, but Zidane was. That says something. Absolutely, Daryl. You're right. He's a very successful manager. Very good manager. No doubts about that at all in my mind. None whatsoever. No doubt about it at all. However, moving him into that great category. I don't know. Maybe because he won 3 Champions Leagues. I need to look at it. Has he won back-to-back league titles yet? I don't know. I just want to see a little bit more. I just want to see a little bit more. It's just a feeling in my gut that I want to see first of all. A bit nervous as a Chelsea fan, but happy. I hear you on that one. What else are people saying here? Oh, someone else said that. Okay, cool. Someone in the chat. Fair enough. But listen, everyone who has tuned into us today, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. We're back later on today with more news for you. And as we start to build up to these massive semi-finals in the Europa League. Until next time, everybody, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon.